So really what's happening is, in that circumstance, the racing team is lying to everybody. They're creating a false narrative, perpetuated by the media, perpetuated by the algorithm, and perpetuated by the insane cultural divide of our times. Okay, so if it's women that year, well, then they're going to pretend that they care about women. Invite like a few black people from the inner city by to pretend they give a shit when they don't, write a press release like they care, get all the corporations off their back, but not actually do anything for the world. Formula One is the biggest waste of industry and resources in the world. But a stupid Formula One team goes, we planted some posies on our roof. We're making the world a better place, and we're committed to being environmentally sustainable. We hope to make a significant positive impact on the environment and communities in which we operate. No, you don't. Enjoy your yacht in Monte Carlo, idiots. Today I'm at home in my garage. I've got the fizzy drink of ZFGs, and today we're going to talk about BS marketing from companies, where I've coined the term woke marketing. Now, I know some people get triggered, but honestly, they're probably just mad because their new colored hair dye didn't come out right. But let's get down to this honestly. I've seen this hugely in the motorsport world, the high-end car world, and racing. The cheapest and easiest way for companies to, one, get cheap PR, as well as get a certain sect of people off their back while patting themselves on the back for looking good, is basically just following along with every social trend there is in an effort to look like the company cares, when in fact the company or the race team or the industry has absolutely nothing to do with forwarding humanity or society in any way, shape, or form. And what's fascinating about it is when these companies do this, they're actually having the opposite effect. I've seen this already with various racing groups and racing teams, etc. I literally was told this by the head of marketing of a prominent racing team in the United States recently. He said it like this: Casey, there's a sensitivity to women in motorsports these days. So what we like to do is we'll invite some young women out to the pits so they can see the cars and talk to the drivers. And I'm like, and he went on a little bit further about it. And suffice it to say, what they're doing does nothing at all for anybody in any way, shape, or form. And I was being nice to him, and I said, well, okay, that's a nice effort. However, there are some things that we could do that would be more than superficial in regard to their effect. And that, I think it offended him. But let's be honest, I'm more offended for women that a racing team would basically just find young women to bring them out and use them as a puppet so they can take the pictures, send the press release out, get out there in the media and look like they're doing something, when in reality they're doing nothing at all. If you're a young woman and you think motorsports is a really cool thing to be part of, whether it's an engineer or a crew chief or a driver or anything, and you see articles written about from mainstream automotive media and things being put out on websites of racing sanctioning bodies around the world or racing teams or automotive manufacturers that they really care and they're really doing the initiative, when in actuality they're doing jack squat, those young women are not going to know that. They're going to think that things are a certain way, and they're not. And when in reality, it's just another cold company that wants to make money and doesn't give a crap about anybody else. Whether they're being equal or not, very likely they are. It may just be because there's no women that are interested in it. That's why I think like 98% of all people that go into engineering in college are dudes, because dudes are more into stuff. But anyway, if you're a young woman, and I have a daughter, perhaps she will be like this one day. But I'm going to tell her reality how it works. Anyway, if you're dreaming of doing that and you see this, you're going to think it's going to be great. And then when you try to get there, you realize, wait a minute, this is just as cold and callous as everything else. So really what's happening is, in that circumstance, the racing team is lying to everybody. They're creating a false narrative, perpetuated by the media, perpetuated by the algorithm, and perpetuated by the insane cultural divide of our times. And this is not relegated to one thing. I see it all over the place, and it just makes me want to go, anything. Okay, so if it's women that year, well, then they're going to pretend that they care about women. If it's black people, well, then they're going to get African Americans doing stuff and say a bunch of nice things when they don't care, okay? I'm pretty sure, and if they get mad, I don't care. I'm pretty sure Roger Penske, in owning IndyCar now, was creating Force Indy, which was to be an all-black, all-African American team, whatever you want to call it. And I don't think the world cares because it's too little too late. Doesn't matter. Like, we all see through this. The racing world certainly does. And then, you know, if you are a black guy or a black girl and you want to be in racing, you're going to look at that and go, oh, come on. What are we? Theater puppets to you? It's the same kind of thing. It's just gross. And the world sees through it. And they send out this stupid press release and they try to get money. And then you get people in corporations that want to have social corporate responsibility, but they don't know how to apply it. I'm not vilifying. They don't know how to apply it. And they see this, an initiative like that, or women in motorsports or something like this, and they think it's good and they put money towards it because big names are part of it. Big media people of industry, moguls and all. And it doesn't do anything. And then the public is just mad and resents it because it's just a false narrative in theater. And that's rampant in the car world. I'll give you another example. I should look this up. I'm just going to look up Formula One and like eco-friendly and see what pops up. But there's a Formula One team in recent years. They created a green roof on their headquarters. Okay, great. They have like wildflowers and stuff on the roof of their thing. And they're like, oh, we're going for less carbon impact. You're a Formula One team. Formula One is the biggest waste of industry and resources in the world. It is a billionaire's playground. There are so many jets zooming around the world carrying tons and tons and tons of freight and materials that are not recyclable, carbon fiber and highly exotic metals and stuff just to be used for one race, for entertainment. When in reality, if they didn't have such purposefully obtuse, idiotic rules, you could have more entertainment, faster cars for a fraction of the price and less environmental impact. But a stupid Formula One team goes, we planted some posies on our roof. We're making the world a better place, and we're committed to being environmentally sustainable. And like 5% of our fuels are made from something that's grown. Oh, give me a break. Like the world doesn't see through this? Okay, Formula One, initiative. Oh, I'm just gonna read this. This is gonna be hilarious. Oh, there's a CEO with a great Poirot mustache. He is the CEO of Formula One. In over 70 years of history, F1 has pioneered numerous technologies and innovations that have positively contributed to the society and helped combat carbon emissions. Have you? From groundbreaking aerodynamics to improved brake design to progress led by F1 teams has benefited millions of cars on the road today. Really? Because yeah, the aerodynamics in Formula One cars has jack squat to do with low drag or anything else on the road today. Still got mirrors and everything else, parasitic drag and bad manufacturing techniques. Give me a break. Few people know that the current hybrid power unit is the most efficient in the world, delivering more power using less fuel and hence CO2 than any other road car. Okay, maybe, but forget about the ridiculous amount of resources that went into producing and manufacturing all this for your cars so you can have a dog and pony show on the world stage pretending that it matters, when in reality, the cars themselves could be recyclable and done to different rules and burn less fuel, but it's just a theater. It's all a fake BS bullshit theater. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. We believe that F1 can continue to be a pioneer for the auto industry. In what way? And a pioneer for getting money out of rich people and not doing something useful for the world? Working with energy and automotive sectors to deliver the world's first net zero carbon power unit. Really? Driving down carbon emissions across the globe. Yeah, when you're jet setting around for the 5 seconds that your car's actually running or on. Yeah, okay. What about all those little kids dying in cobalt mines and lithium mines across the world owned by crooked American politicians that are in bed and in the financial arm of the Chinese Communist Party? How about that? Oh, we're not going to go into that because it's not in my backyard, Formula One. Enjoy your yacht in Monte Carlo, idiots. Oh, man. Leveraging the immense talent, passion, and drive for innovation held by all members of the F1 community. We hope to make a significant positive impact on the environment and communities in which we operate. No, you don't. No, you don't. First of all, the rules of which your cars are run with open wheel, you've been doing that since the pre-war times, and it's just a throwback to the past, and you're developing all this crap. If Formula One just made cars that were fun to watch, sounded good, and was a good spectacle of sport, they could have taken the mass amount of money they would have saved have done this. We could have colonized Mars. We could have cured cancer. We could have done a lot of other things. But really, it's just a broken, bizarre industry of billionaires and garbage like this where they're lying to the public thinking we're stupid just so they sound good. So I don't know, some low-rent politicians, they're in the pocket of probably the World Economic Forum, get off their back because that's the rich person's playground, the world elite. Screw you. The entire world knows you're full of crap. You don't do anything. The sport is boring to watch. And the only reason anybody watches it is because they like kowtowing around money and they're mystified by what's going on. When in reality, real people, the only thing we're mystified is why you think we're this dumb. Holy crap. Woo! Carbon footprint. See, that's what's all over the front page of Formula One sustainability. Oh, sustainability. There's nothing sustainable about it. Yeah, give me oh God, what a joke. What an absolute joke across the board. It's an outright lie, complete horse lie. Screw them all. Waste of time, pompous pricks. I think they got, what do you think you got? Coronated king instead of Charles? The whole car world does this. They all do. But let's trace it where it goes societally. Now, first of all, the racing world is the most selfish, disagreeable personality trait, sociopath kind of world and industry and sport that exists. And I'll tell you why. It's like any other sport where it's competitive, but most especially with racing, you get the ego of man, all mankind. Let's not be sexist and just assume it's men. The ego of mankind that comes together with massive amounts of power and money to try to crush you. And if we can't do it on the track, we'll do it by engineering or cheating or politics, whatever it takes. And then, why do you think I don't watch F1? But the very notion that they give a crap about the world or the future or butterfly migration patterns or something is a joke. Which stupid Formula One car driver had a press release that went out? It was like, oh, he got mugged in Monte Carlo and he chased down the thieves and got back his $465,000 Richard Mille watch. Side note, Richard Mille is kind of ugly and just shows the postmodern industrial ugliness that is society. It sucks. Why are we lying? Why does the public think that any of these people care? Politicians and internet algorithms. The internet and the way it works has influenced us all because websites, as well as all social media platforms, as well now the mainstream media, has found out the way to keep you watching and keep you on is to keep you addicted. And the way to keep people addicted to media of all kinds is to pinpoint and target the basilar human emotions, anger, greed, lust, basically all the bad ones that create a vice and addiction. So how do you proliferate that with people? You keep them fighting, you keep them greedy, and you keep them stupid. So that's what this internet information age has brought out of all of mankind. Well, they say politics is downstream of culture, so let's call the information age culture. The politicians go after this too. That's why we live in a massively polarized world stage. Basically, cultures and countries around the world that want to be themselves, that actually care about who they are and trying to have civilization on a community level. And then world powers that want to manipulate you in other ways. That is, shall we say, contrasting to the countries and the communities around the world. That's where it's coming from. It's coming from the information age. It's coming from bullcrap. It's coming from 5-second sound bites. You know, it's also interesting. In the automotive media, let's say in the United States, so much of the mainstream automotive media outlets are being bought up by two things. Haggerty, which I've been watching for the last decade, try to become a powerhouse and own the entirety of the classic and exotic car world. And Hearst Media. Hearst Media is interesting. Now, I may get this wrong, so forgive me if I do, but there was something 100 years ago called yellow journalism, where they printed sensationalized headlines on yellow paper because it would be easy to see. And it was ridiculous, and it became bigger and bigger and bigger, more sensationalized, more ridiculous. It was the clickbait of a century ago. And I think that was William Randolph Hearst. Interesting, because Hearst Publications now owns things now. So the trouble is here now, if they're buying up all the media outlets, the problem for traditional media and editors and writers, etc., the people that are paid to make that, the days of actual journalism is long since gone. I would say a couple of years ago, it would be 1 in 15, 1 in 20 articles were actually written where a person went out and did due diligence, formed their own opinion, got information, and created an article. The rest of the vast majority of all articles then and all the way till now are just regurgitated press releases from wherever. That's why I told you that a racing team or racing industry can just invite like a few black people from the inner city by to pretend they give a when they don't, write a press release like they care, get all the corporations off their back, but not actually do anything for the world, okay? And I'm using that as an example because we can all relate to it. Obviously, I spent the last decade of my life hands-on, directly teaching young people and trying to get them jobs in industry and make it matter. And yes, my young people come from all kinds of different backgrounds. American, first generation, second generation American, all the colors, sexes, and potential sexualities. But to be honest, none of my business. So I actually care about people. I've been doing something about it. And I've been watching the nature of media, politics, and the lie that is all these industries that are able to perpetuate it because of this. And that's the problem with our time. That's why I frankly think Formula One can kiss my ass, and it's disgusting. All of it. The Formula One teams, the IndyCar teams, all of them, they all do the same shit. It's common thought, I'll say thought, because I can't exactly corroborate it, but you remember the noose with NASCAR and what's his name? Bubba Wallace? The super light-skinned black guy? Well, NASCAR, they want to get past their roots where they seemed like a bunch of racist Southerners doing moonshine running. Well, if you want to get past that, why are you putting out press releases just to get more press because you think there's something going on with the one dude that no Southerners actually really have a problem with anymore at all in NASCAR and doing this kind of bull crap? It just perpetuates shit in society. So hey, NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, why don't you actually do something for real? Why don't you actually figure out how to save the money while having the entertainment and doing what you do with your sport and actually go out there and put your damn money where your mouth is and do something tangible? I'll tell you why they're not going to do it. It takes work. Most people, when they get to a position of power, if they're not a true entrepreneur, they just want to maintain their position. They're not going to rock the boat. They're not going to put in any extra work. And they don't care about anything else other than their paycheck. And the people that are wealthy enough to own it and create it and push it, they're wealthy enough and powerful enough not to give a shit. You think Penske cares to do anything beyond what he needs to do, or the CEO with his Poirot mustache of Formula One, or any big team manager leader? No, they got better stuff to do. Nobody gives a shit. But you know why I give a shit? Because it's all a lie. All the media, all the industry that's perpetuating this, taking advantage of us, society, countries, people, races, sexes, everybody. They're taking advantage of us because they think we're stupid. Screw them. You know why I'm mad? Because I've actually been doing something about it for the last decade of my life, putting things on hold with Genius Garage and everything else. So as far as I'm concerned, they can go shove it where the sun don't shine. And that's what I really think. There's really not much else to it. Comment below, tell me what you think, share it if you like, don't. And I don't care if anybody in these high-end places get mad at me for it, because if they have half a damn brain, they'll know that I know exactly how this works, and maybe if they weren't so damn risk-averse and thinking that this is the way it's just gonna stay culturally forever, they might get somebody halfway intelligent like me to help them fix it. Media, what a bunch of lies. Yeah, I don't like bullcrap, and I don't think you do either. So, there you go. See you next time. Subscribe. What's Casey gonna say? How the heck do you start a space company? Go to Russia and try to negotiate to buy the engines from their nukes when the Soviet Union collapses. You could read the book, Breaking All the Rules by Jim Cantrell, where he talks about doing just that with Elon Musk. Yes, I lost a bet to him, but that's beside the point.
By the way, I made the bet with Jim Cantrell after a Formula One team wasted 8 months of my time, and I got sick of the BS. And I'm like, hey, Jim, how about we make a bet about Genius Garage? You be the hero.
I still like his book, and he's a cool guy that likes Genius Garage. So go down the description below, buy this book, and find out what it's like to discover a Russian Banya spot for the first time as a young American. See you guys.